Might as well just let's have the full-fledged, like, fish guy love,
Okay.
like, rant. Let's just go
Okay.
right into it.
So yeah, Shadowlands. Cyberpunk 2077. You know, boy, this ain't a good game. It's just not. I don't know how else to put it. It's just not a good game. Technical issues aside, and it's like we need to judge this game just like we do every other game for its technical issues at release. And it's all right. So the story of Cyberpunk 2077, the actual direction, what you're seeing going on behind me,
Sure.
really, really good. I love the story. I really do. I love the dialogue, the writing. It's great. But this game isn't good. It's like this, what you're watching right here, and what you're going to watch for the entirety of this podcast is exposition. I mean, entirely exposition, which I mean, say what you will about, a storytelling RPG or that kind of game. There's going to be, but it's like nothing breaks me out of immersion in a game faster than just being told to sit like I'm doing right here on the screen and maybe hit a button every couple of minutes, like is going on right here on the screen. You know what I mean? And it's so you're just kind of being guided through this. And honestly, I even said this on my stream that I mean, this took an hour and a half. This was an hour and a half of me just basically getting started. On top of the 3 hours I had put in, when I first got the game of just, the intro shit, which, but it is what it is. The story is great. If you're going into this and you're going, I'm starting the story and I'm playing right through the story, maybe a couple side things, but I'm not going to get sidetracked. You're going to have a great time with this game. But if you stop, because that's not how I like to play open world games. If you're like me, I get to the point where it says, okay, you can go do anything you want now. And I fuck off, man. I leave. I go anywhere else. Fallout 4, I didn't give a shit about Sean. I didn't care about my son. I went to find whatever the fuck this world had to offer me. Skyrim was the same thing. I didn't go to whatever, town to warn about the dragon attack. I went anywhere else in the world. So when I did this in Cyberpunk 2077, I found a lot of really glaring things. One, the AI is garbage. There's no other way to put it. Enemy AI, neutral AI, it's all just bad. There is no chase factor to any of the AI programming I found out. So like when the police, you like fucking steal a car right in front of the cops, you know what I mean? And they just like, they'll shoot at you, but you're fucking gone, man. Like once you leave, they don't chase you. There's no like, yeah, the cops are coming now. No, man, that's not how it works. You just like you get in a car and you're just invincible. I've gotten into gunfights with gangs that when I'm using guns, they kick my ass. When I get behind the wheel of a car, I just fucking run them over, man. It's like and the AI is so poorly optimized and so poorly written that it's like enemies will encompass maybe a 6 yard area to,
Sure.
for an entire, gunfight, which when you're, driving a fucking car at somebody, you'd think they'd leave. You'd think they'd just walk the fuck away. You'd think they'd just go anywhere else. But they don't, man. They just like, they set up these shitty little roadblocks and then they just exist around the cars and they shoot at you and shit. There's no challenge to it. One of the big things that was touted in this game was the random encounters and stuff like that out in this open world. There's not really random encounters. There's like 3 different styles of encounters that happen in random spots throughout the map. And it like, I equate it to like the Mafia game, and I only equate it to that because it's fresh on my mind. I had just played it in the last couple months, where it was like, it was really the same events that would just kind of keep happening, and you could stop and do them, but eventually you're just like, oh, okay, all I'm doing is killing like 3 people and looting or whatever. The combat system, the way the game presents combat and conflict, uh, like I said, in dialogue, in talking is done really, really well. You have the options in dialogue to do these really cool, badass things. Where I remember one of the moments pretty early on in the game. Um, you could you had the option to just shoot somebody. I mean, just like, you're sitting at a table, draw a gun, bap, shoot that motherfucker. It's and so it was really, really well done. How smooth everything transitioned in the context of this conversation, and when you go outside that conversation. You don't get that at all. It's like I don't feel like a badass. I don't feel like these guns are as threatening as they are in these cutscenes and in the dialogue, uh, you know, fucking moments. So I feel like something's lost there, and it's like nothing really drags me out of a game more than enemies not being hard because they're using tactics and they're playing off of each other and shooting and cover and using one thing I thought Far Cry did really well, and even Ghost Recon. The AI was taught to do the technique called talking guns, where one AI would shoot. And when they stopped to reload, another AI would start to shoot. So their guns were basically talking. They were having a conversation. And it's like, you don't get that in this game. And it's like, so it makes encounters, especially combat encounters, really lackluster because they're not using tactics. The enemies are just hard because they're bullet sponges. And that's really, really bothersome to me, especially in a game that presents itself to be this really fast paced, like no holds barred, badass world where shit goes down, a firefight goes down 15 to 30 seconds, maybe, you know what I mean? And what feels like what you just had in that dialogue, that conversation moment, you don't get to emulate in the actual world because then that firefight takes 3 minutes because you're just sitting there and you're dumping fucking bullets downrange, and it's immersion breaking to me. Some people like it. Some people like that system of DPS and like, hey, this gun does more damage than this gun because it's levels higher. I fucking hate that when it comes to RPGs, especially single player RPGs, man. Like, you're trying to
Is
tell
it
a story.
okay?
Yeah.
Let me just throw a couple questions that out there. Story wise, is
Yes.
the story at all interesting?
Fantastic. Story's
Okay.
fantastic. Story is
Okay.
phenomenal. It's like I said, if you play this game and you turn on Cyberpunk 2077 and you're just like go through the main story and play through all the different iterations of the main story, because there's like three different campaigns you can play through, and then all of them have different spin-offs based on choices and
Like
um
there's like the Lone Ranger.
yeah,
There is
there's the
you hate
Nomad,
poor
which is the one
people
I'm
or you
playing.
hate the rich.
Yeah, right. So it's like I'm playing as the Nomad, which is the one that starts out in the country. There's the City
Okay,
Kid,
so you're the
and
Lone
then there's the
Ranger.
Corpo guy. Yeah. So I mean, it's like there's a lot of different iterations to this game and how this story plays out, which is fucking phenomenal. They did a great
Oh, I'm
job with that.
so
So
going corporate.
yeah, so like
I
if
can't
you
wait.
play the game for that, you're gonna have a great time. But like I said,
Okay.
the moment that you get off the main story and you just go anywhere else in this world, you lose it. You lose me, you lose it, you lose. I mean, what really should make this game unique? Now, I mean, to get more into the nitty gritty about things, like the driving system. Actually, I think driving is done really well. For a like first time, like, hey, CD Projekt Red hasn't done anything with like cars and traffic and shit. So
I was actually I watched one of your streams a
yeah,
couple days ago, when you were playing and you were in a car. I didn't
uh
watch long, but it seemed like everything was going
yes,
smooth.
yes,
So
and so yeah, the I like the driving. I mean, obviously, it's got some to be desired. They're not Rockstar. They didn't knock it out of the fucking park, but at the same time, they did really, really well with it. They definitely beat games like Ghost Recon, and they beat games like I'd even say like Saints Row. I think they did better than them. Um, so there's certain parts of it that I like that that I think they did well with. The character development seems to be in depth, like when we're talking about like the different perks and like attribute points that you can attribute, like extra damage with X weapon and armor and blah 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 blah. It's really, really in depth, but it doesn't seem like it really should exist in the capacity it does. Like, it seems like everything that is there should like already be your character, and then
Okay.
there needs to be just more. Like like 3% extra, pistol power isn't really like an attribute kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know. I just feel like again though that kind of boils down to how I just don't like the weapon system or the combat system that much in
All right,
reference to
well,
like
let's talk
DPS
about that for a
systems.
second. When
Uh-huh.
you say weapon system, like, is it mainly an FPS style? Like,
It's yeah, I mean it's got obviously its melee component to it. Katanas and some really badass kind of melee
really,
weapons. Oh yeah.
really?
Oh
Oh,
yeah. You're gonna
interesting.
have a great time
Oh,
with it. Yeah, no, if you're looking to go
okay.
melee, you're gonna have a great time. But at the same time though, it's not like you can walk up to like one problem I had like I think it's I don't know 40 minutes after this fucking scene was that when I was adventuring out in this open world, there was really nothing to let me know that hey, you're in an area where everything's level 34 and you're level 8, motherfucker. Like, you're going to get stomped on by everything, which again, I fucking hate when we're talking about gunplay and swords. Like, if I walk up to somebody with a handgun and I bap them in the back of the head, that should be the end of this. But instead, I walk up, pop, do no damage. They turn around, bury a shotgun in my chest, and blow me up the fucking block. You know what I mean? It's like and there's nothing that would have let me know that it's like, wait, this guy is like, 30 levels above me. A, how does a gun just do more damage if, you're a higher level? And B, what the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, so now there's areas that I can't go to, because my guns don't do enough damage. You know what I mean? And it's like you get away with something like that in a game like Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls series, games with swords and magic and shit like that because you can, almost disguise it the way the Elder Scrolls has always done in that like there's
Hello,
iron. Hello? Somebody just say hello? I don't know.
Josh. I
Whatever.
can't hear you.
Weird. Huh. Well, Phil can't hear me, but
I can't hear you right now. What's going on?
yeah, I don't know, buddy.
You there?
I'm right here. Huh. Weird. Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? I don't know. But anyway, to get back into what I was saying, I mean, it was, this weird. I don't know. Damn, I kind of lost my train of thought there.
So
But
what you're saying, to be clear,
yeah.
it wasn't has some really good points and some really bad ones, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
well, yeah, and the really bad ones really, really, really kind of outshine the really good ones. And I mean, we haven't even talked about the technical gaffes in this game. Like, we're just talking about straight gameplay stuff right now.
Well, that's what I want to talk about now. If that's all right
Yeah,
with you. I always want to talk about how this game looks like Play-Doh on the old gen systems, and I'm so happy I didn't go out and buy it because I got some really cool news I'm going to bring up to you when I start talking about what's going on
okay.
in my side of the world. But did you see some of like the footage of what the PlayStation 4 and the
Yes.
Xbox
Yeah,
One
and
were doing?
dude, so I mean, that's the entire other thing. I mean, just okay, so let's talk
Is
about
it that bad for you? Because you have
yeah,
a
let's
better
talk about
computer
my
than me.
experience first.
Yeah, because you have one of the best computers I know of. So
Dude, my computer, I mean, it's all right at this point. I mean, it's the processor needs to get updated. I'm running everything basically on medium to medium high graphics in this, which I mean, as you can see, still looks really, really good. I mean, the lighting and the volumetric fog and everything, really, really well done. The picture as a whole, like most games nowadays, looks really good. If you focus on any individual aspect of it, you start to see this come apart at the seams. And this right here, what you're looking at on the screen, is kind of the perfect example. I know you can't see much because my fat head and Phil's fat heads are in the way. But it's like if you look at the grates on the floor, if you look at some of the stuff on the walls, you can see the flat textures. You can see some of the smaller issues. Now, it doesn't take away from the storytelling, doesn't take away from the universe they've provided. because there's a lot of great moments, like when you walk out of your apartment building and you look out on the street, and the light kind of hits it a certain way, and there's cars going by and there's large crowds of people. That moment, when you first see that, is really really cool. But again, the longer you look at it, we start to see the problems. One of the things they did in this game to create such uh, a vibrant city was to have very large crowds of people. And so to do that, what they would do is make it so when you're looking in a direction, that is where people render. If you look away, those people disappear because the game doesn't want to waste, graphics resources, keeping people in this world that you're not looking at because it's just like it's wasting graphics resources. So it gets rid of those people. And so it gets jarring when you're looking at somebody and their outfit catches your attention and you turn away for a second and then you turn and look back in their direction and it's a totally different group of people in totally different places. And not only that, it's even more jarring when you're just walking down the street and that system glitches for a moment and just people start spawning in front of you and it just takes you out of this moment entirely. So yes, again, when you look at it as a whole, when you just take a step back and you look at this world, it's fantastic. But when you get up close and you really focus on any individual aspect of it, you start to see this coming apart at the seams. And it's, uh, par for the course for games nowadays. I mean, it's,
All right, so now with all that said, and I agree with you completely. From what I've
yes,
heard about it, it's pretty much around the board. Even if you had like the best computer on the planet, you're still gonna have issues.
yes.
Wha Do you think it's obviously CD Project Red's fault, like,
Yes.
when it comes out, it comes down to it. But what do you like? I don't know why I'm giving them this. I haven't played it yet, but there's almost a part of me that wants to like cut them a break. Am
I want
like
to cut the development team a break. I don't want to cut their executive team a break.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that's where I'm
I
at.
can literally hear the executive
This
like, "No,
game,
you're gonna do this. We already promised this. This is this." And there's a guy's like, "No. In fact, you need us to delay this another 2 years." Like,
yes, this game needed
that's what
another year of development. And
yeah, and I
unfortunately,
don't
well, here's the
it
thing.
sucks.
It's like with another year of development, this game would have just flown by the wayside as something about as popular or about as big as Deus Ex. Really great game. Really, I mean, awesome. Fucking awesome game. I go back and replay it every couple of years uh, because I think it's that good. However, it's got a very niche following. And when you bring up Deus Ex to people, chances are, I mean, most gamers haven't played it. A lot of people have heard of it. Nobody's really played it. And so to avoid that, they had to get this game out. And so instead of giving it that probably other year it needed of development, they wanted to have the revolutionary title that they touted at E3 all those years ago.
Yeah,
And
like, when
this
back
game,
when Xbox 360 was ending. Like, it's a
this
j to me
this
ugh.
game would have been revolutionary 9 months ago. It really, I mean, it's like if they had just
Yeah,
taken care of all of the technical problems that they have taken care of in the last since release, and had this out 9 months ago, this game, I mean, people would have received it so much better. But because we've had simpler games take off, more popular, do better, and grab people's attention more, like Fall Guys, like
or Among Us,
Among
yeah.
Us. Yeah, this year alone. I mean, it's like Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, it's like we'll talk about the games and the Game Awards in a second,
Yeah.
but it's like this game. I'm looking at Cyberpunk 2077, and no, it wouldn't have made Game of the Year. I mean, really, and
No.
yeah, right. So it wouldn't have contended with the titles that were put up this year. I honestly, I mean, it sucks because CD Projekt Red, obviously, I mean, they had a great idea for what this should be. Um, but just in execution, man, I think their executive leadership really kind of failed them in
Yeah,
setting unrealistic goals and setting them on unrealistic timelines.
yeah.
Uh, and it comes out in the wash. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, man. I mean, that's just really that's where I'm at. Uh, I have a lot of moments where it is a lot of fun, like right here where you see the bullets go through the walls, and there's shit like that. That's really cool.
But he is in the wall right there.
Right,
Like,
exactly, exactly, and that's exactly what I was gonna say next was, there's also the glaring issues of clothing clipping and,
yeah. Well, I've heard, like, rumors about what you
your
can do to your, like, genitalia
oh,
in the
yeah, no,
game.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can have a giant, massive penis, and that would be hilarious if it didn't, like, glitch so that your dick was always out, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know, your partner AI, dude, it sucks bad, bad, bad. I mean, like, I think the enemies are bad AI. It's like I don't know how they did your companion AI even worse. It's I don't know. I don't know, man. This game is definitely not
Okay, so if you rated this
dude, look
game
at this. Look at this shotgun, man. I just had to put 5 rounds in him at 3 fucking yards. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's the kind of shit that really just blows my immersion when I'm playing a game. Because it's like in this, like I said, in this universe where everything is just seems like this very fast pace, in your face action. Bam! You should hear the soundtrack, dude. The soundtrack is phenomenal. And it's like and then in execution, you don't give me that. You don't give me that fast paced action. It feels like, dude, playing this game is blue balls. It really is. It is the fucking video game equivalent of getting blue balls because it's like you want to do so much crazy badass shit that you fucking can't because the systems in this game have throttled you to the point where you're not allowed or it's not satisfying. So hey, maybe I'm wrong, but that's
flatline
just
mean you dead? You die?
yes, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Hmm.
So yeah, I don't know, man.
Alright, so initial score so far?
Hard six,
Hard 6, okay, yikes, okay.
hard six. Well,
Isn't it
no, I'll give it a very soft low 7 because honestly, I mean, it's just the ambition behind the game, the idea behind the game. If they iron out their technical problems,
yeah.
if
Like,
they
because like, something that, like, you even last time we were on the podcast with Josh,
yeah,
Wilbert there, he even made a comment, there were people who didn't take time off for, like, weeks. They didn't they skipped pretty much every holiday so they could get at least this out, and it just
yeah,
I feel bad for them.
yeah.
Like, I can some
Yeah,
people probably have
absolutely. So I
depression right
mean,
now, like, I don't even know what they're going through, and it sucks.
yeah, dude, honestly, yeah, something told me that this game wasn't going to be everything it was hyped up to be. I feel like people had put this on a platform as being just this, over the top revolutionary RPG. And I think we do that because we haven't really had a good RPG. I mean, really mainstream RPG in, 4 or 5 years at this point. And
Yeah.
we've had
Well,
little
Breath
titles
of the
like
Wild, The Witcher, there hasn't really been anything
exactly, man. The
major.
Witcher in 2014. We had Fallout 4 in 2014, 2015. But we haven't had a good single player RPG that allows, really deep character development in a massive open world. Grand Theft Auto 5 is still fantastic, but it still came out in 2010. You know what I mean?
I think you should give Horizon Zero Dawn a shot.
Yeah,
You
absolutely. But
liked Witcher? Like, I've been playing that's one game that I have been playing through. I've been
yes.
very much enjoying that.
Yeah, I absolutely should. But I just kind of to wrap up, I think we put this game on too high a pedestal, and now everybody's kind of reaping what they sow. I mean, you got to figure these developers were given fucking death threats when they delayed this game like 2 weeks or something, like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
back in November, and then really was this what you were willing to take a fucking life over, dude? I
Yeah.
mean.
I think it's just more of
Unrealistic
anyone
expectations.
no one is gonna actually show up and try to kill a
No,
developer. That's all I'm gonna
nobody's
say.
actually going to do that, but it's a
People
really
that
just
said that
out
are some
egregious fucking
I
thing
could
to say and do. But at the same time, like the gaming community's got to understand that like just by throwing out death threats and trying to like hasten the release timelines and shit like that, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot because all we're getting are these shitty fucking games. And I'm really tired of fucking playing shitty fucking games. That's where I'm at, man. That's why I
Mhm.
haven't been streaming. That's why I haven't been big into the gaming community right now. I'm tired of playing shitty fucking games and having people try to convince me that they're great, that they're revolutionary. That I mean, because dude, I'm gonna go into a World of Warcraft Shadowlands rant in a little while. That's gonna blow your fucking mind.